If someone 10 years sober from alcohol accidentally has a drink, what happens to their mind and body? Nothing happens, besides maybe they call their sponsor and share at an AA meeting about it. If they didn't make the conscious decision to relapse, then their sobriety date didn't even change. They might relapse or spit it out. Regardless, I can guarantee anyone who is an alcoholic will know there's booze in there the second it hits their tongue. I haven't had a drink in 14 years. I'd probably spit it out straight away cause I could tell there was alcohol in it. Although I think about this often that I maybe be able to drink again, am more mature, more responsible. But what if I'm not? What if that first drink is the one that sets me off again, makes me lose my job, lose my house and lose my family? But what if I can handle it? What if that first drink is the first of many that I can drink in moderation, that will allow me to enjoy myself again, be social, subside my anxiety, feel normal? Don't know if this answers your question. If they use the event as excuse to start drinking again, they'll relapse. OTOH if they chose to not drink the last 10 years is a success. I was sober for 18 months and got peer pressured into getting a mixed drink at a dinner. Holy crap, I got drunk so fast. It was like 6 beers deep after a couple sips. Haven't had any since that, though, and it's been a few years. For me, after being sober for a few years, alcohol tastes disgusting and makes me want to puke. I'm not an expert, but my mom was an alcoholic and an addict, so if you relapse nothing changes in your body, but talk up the years you've been recovering and then break the years of recovering. It's best to share it to your sponsor or share it in a meeting at AA, but the scary thing about relapsing is when you try drinking again you might get addicted again, and it breaks your serenity and literally breaks your sober and clean seren self. Every person is different. I've got a lot of alcoholics in my family and it's very unlikely this scenario would play out. The alcohol is very noticeable when you're fixated on it. Everyone is unique and deals with it differently. Some avoid these situations completely by just not going to these kinds of parties, and some are able to enjoy the party now and again without acting on temptation. It's nice that you're thinking of them, but the last thing I would want is someone making all kinds of allowances for me or making a big deal about it when it happens. The problem with alcoholics is you can't stop. If you are the sort of person that drinks until you fall asleep or it's empty, you might have a bit of problem. Once an alcoholic, it never goes away. So sure, if you had a drink unknowingly, you might be able to fend it off. But if you do decide to drink, after 10 years, there is a big chance you will drink until you sleep, and all of a sudden 2 weeks has gone by with alcohol daily. And then you have to face the next 10 years of trying to stay away. Alcoholism is a fucking terrible disease. Funny how many responses mention AA and/or sponsors. Many people get sober without a higher power. They could relapse, or they could not. Or they could call their sponsor, if they have one, and talk through it. They don't all have the same reaction response to something like this. Many former alcoholics I've known go by the philosophy of once an addict, always an addict. They don't say that as a negative thing or to be self-punitive, but as a reminder that they could relapse, which also helps them plan ahead in the event there's a possibility of a relapse. It really depends on the sort of person they are. It depends on the person. Some alcoholics literally can't stop drinking once they start, and some can have 2 drinks and be okay in moderation. If they are an AA member, they are more likely to be worried about their sober streak. IMO had a buddy that was 10 years sober take a sip of a mixed drink by accident. He swallowed it, put it down, got his cup with Coca-Cola in it, shrugged and said, "I'm not restarting 10 years for that." He is now 15 sober with that small asterisk. I was 3 years sober when I ordered a mocktail at a fancy restaurant. I took a sip and thought that bitters or whatever is strong, had another sip, then felt my face flush and my knees go a bit weird. I asked the waitress if she ordered the mocktail, not a cocktail. She assured me it was non-alcoholic. So I had one more sip before she came running over to tell me the bar had sent out the wrong drink. I knew it. I still don't count that drink. They turn into a goblin and start wreaking havoc on the downtown civilians. It's different for everybody, but in terms of instant effect, generally nothing. I'm coming up on 9 years, and it wouldn't break me if I accidentally took a sip of booze, though I'd probably be pissed. The way I look at it, my problem isn't alcohol, my problem is drinking. It's the self-destructive process of pumping my brain full of alcohol as often as possible because thinking and feeling is too painful. I don't think I personally would relapse if I accidentally had some, but for a lot of people that's a real danger. I've known alcoholics, and each one is different. One fell off the wagon after 5 years of sobriety. When someone gave her a drink with alcohol, she ended up dying a year later when she fell over a balcony railing. She's the only person I've known who fell off and couldn't get back on the wagon. I've had a friend who was sober for over a decade, but went on a binge after attending a bachelor party. The binge lasted over a year, and he went into rehab and has been sober for 2 years. The other two I know won't touch a drop of alcohol and won't attend events or gatherings where certain heavy drinking individuals will also be in attendance. Addiction is addiction, no matter the substance. How it affects people is individualistic. Emmett, 12 years, and a few weeks ago I accidentally took a swig of what I thought was a mocktail, ended being a very big cock. No, I will not apologize. At first, I was freaking out at what would happen if I started feeling it, but nah. I immediately switched back to my NA, maybe felt a tad queasy for a minute, but had basically already decided I wasn't going any farther and would ignore the sensation. That's poison you're feeling, you just drank poison. Let it work itself out on loop in my head, very much mind over matter. I feel like when the physical recovery and sobriety happens, mind over matter gets you through the slips. Now, had I accepted my fate and finished slurping that big old concentrated ABV drink, then yeah, I'd have probably gotten a case of the fuckets. But again, would that have been that one slip's fault? Or mine for giving up and giving in so readily? You'd recognize the alcohol instantly. Nothing crazy will happen. There will be this feeling like you just went back in time, and to a familiar mental and emotional place, nostalgia.